Welcome to another episode of Core NFL Recaps. I'm Legacy.
And I'm Max.
I'm Vitamin J.
And we're here to recap week 12 of the NFL season. And we'll start by recapping our Thursday or our Thanksgiving games. And it started off with the Bills beating the Lions 28-25. This game was a lot more competitive than I thought it was going to be.
Man, the Lions could be a problem next year, depending on if they get a quarterback.
Shoot, they might be second place in the division. Not that that's a huge, impressive feat, but to be ahead of the Packers and Bears on paper, it looks good.
Very true. Game was pretty good. I mean, like usual, Lions playing well, but the good news for them again is the fact that they lost, and I believe the Rams lost. So still got that top pick, baby.
Oh yeah. And for next season, he's going to play a little bit this year, but for next year, you essentially get 3 first-round picks because you have yours, you got the Rams, and also you get a full season of your first-round pick this year, Jameson Williams. And if he's anything that he looked like he's going to be, that's going to be huge. They got him, Amon-Ra St. Brown, John J. Swift, and Jamal Williams, who just scores touchdowns every week. So, yeah, they got a pretty good offense coming here. Jared Goff's been okay, but they can definitely improve on that. And if they get a chance for one of those top guys, they should jump on it. Now, if it's between Goff and Levis, I still go Goff because I don't believe in Levis whatsoever. So I'd rather wait for another year.
Well, also with that, since they have 2 picks this year, they have a shot at getting Love because pending who gets the second pick, the fact they could trade, hey, we'll give you the Rams pick and our pick this year.
Mm-hmm.
Could be an option.
Right. If the Bears might not trade with the Lions, but a team like the Bears that already has their quarterback, they may be like, all right, we'll trade with you. Another thing to note about this game is that this game was tied near the end of the fourth quarter. Then Josh Allen hit that beautiful throw to, I believe it was Stephon Diggs, to put him in field goal range. That is what. Now, he's not going to win MVP, I don't think, but that was an MVP type throw right there.
He still did one bad thing, but he still had yet another interception.
Yeah, I believe it's even worse. I believe he has 4 goal line interceptions. So that's just, from the 10-yard line in. So I think he has 4 of them, and you almost never. Most quarterbacks don't even get 1 of those in a season.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be him. You're just going to have to learn to live with it.
He's so good, and you just kind of do like, well, if he throws a pick, he throws a pick because I know he's going to do something else that's really good.
Oh, yeah.
The next game was the Cowboys beating the Giants 28-20. The score looks a little closer than the game actually was. The Giants had a garbage time touchdown. I expected the Cowboys to pretty much handle this game. Now, the Giants were in the lead at the half, and then the second half, they just couldn't keep up, and the defense really let them down in the second half. But, guys, you better watch out now. Your Giants could be in 4th place in the NFC East after this week. They play the Commanders.
They need a receiver so bad. Daniel Jones is out there with nobody.
Hey, I take Tanya. No, not nobody. Darius Slayton is good. He had an insane catch. You need to give him his flowers. He's the one guy who usually doesn't get hurt for him. He's the only guy he's got, so you better treat him nice.
And also another one of the Giants linemen got hurt, so it's kind of like
you
need a receiver, but you also need your dang line to stay healthy. That would probably help.
I would say for Daniel Jones, since he's your guy, I don't say he didn't play great, he didn't play bad. He was kind of in the middle. But like I said, with this offensive roster, he's really not going to have too many peak performances. It's more going to be if he plays turnover-free football, they have a chance because he's not going to throw for 400 yards or anything with this roster. I just don't see that happening. But a positive for them is that defense still is really good. They did pick off Dak Prescott twice. I did say they struggled in the second half, but overall, they're still a pretty good unit. And I would expect now I say this, so it means it probably won't be a competitive game, but I would expect the Giants versus Commanders game this week to be a pretty defensive, maybe like a 20-24 game.
Yeah, pretty much is what I see. Because, Heineke at the other point is not going to show you anything.
No, but he keeps winning. Well, we'll talk about him later. But, yeah, 5-1, even though I grant you he has not played well at all, really. It's the defense that's really been peaking for them, but we can talk more about that when we get to Washington. But for the Cowboys, they pretty much needed this win to have any chance of getting the first overall seed. So they pretty much need to win out to get it, I think, unless they expect Philly to lose 3 games from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, they did what I thought they would do. I mean, I think the only thing was some of those interceptions weren't great, and I think versus a more offensive team, they can end up make them pay more than the Giants could.
Yeah, I think so. We'll move on to the final Thanksgiving game, which was the Vikings beating the Patriots 33-26. I think the most important thing, besides the Vikings winning, but I'll talk about the Patriots side, was that Mac Jones looked damn good this week. This was the best he's looked. This may have even been his best game even last year.
This was definitely one of his best games. He was looking on point. I do have a complaint that Hunter Henry touchdown.
I agree.
No, and this is just NFL fishing. That is not a touchdown, but that bull crap that Travis Kelce caught for a touchdown, where he did the exact, was even worse and had less possession and lost the ball at the end. Also, referees sucking. Who knows?
Right. The main issue I have with the Hunter Henry one was that they ruled it a touchdown, and you cannot tell me there was overwhelming evidence to overrule it. Now, if it was ruled incomplete and they challenged it, I could still see them sticking with the call on the field. But the rule is the call. You have to overwhelmingly have clear and obvious evidence to overturn a call. They did not, and that was huge in the game because I think they settled for a field goal that drive.
They did, and that was going to keep it in lockstep. So. Yeah. So it looks like Mac Jones is starting to get back, and he's starting to click. The offense is starting to click a little bit more.
So we'll see what happens from here on out, but at least we see some life from him because he was looking awful for the majority of the season. So now we can see something here, and now we know he's not like Zach Wilson.
Oh yeah. We already knew he was not Zach
Wilson. Mm-hmm. But for the Vikings, Kirk Cousins, primetime game. Now this was not Monday night. So this Thursday night. So maybe that was a factor that didn't really count. But Kirk Cousins had a great game against a Bill Belichick defense. So that's always impressive. So he's starting to play a little bit better. And but to be honest, I still don't see them being a threat. I still see them losing to either the Eagles, Cowboys, or 49ers in the playoffs. I think they're a clear fourth of those teams.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, the other one would be Jefferson is I know we all know he's a freak, but it just seemed like when he wanted to get the ball, he'd get the ball. The New England couldn't really figure it out.
What can you do?
Go to somebody. It was you could triple team this man. This guy's getting the ball.
Mm-hmm. If he's second in the league in receiving yards by 1 yard behind Tyreek Hill, who we already know is having a fantastic year. So that tells you how good Justin Jefferson is. All right, so the next game we got was an upset, an overtime. The Cleveland Browns beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 23-17.
Some bad clock management at the end of the game. They threw it twice when they were up by 7 with 2-something left. It's dude, run the ball. Make them use their timeouts. I know, if it was younger Brady, Brady from last year, maybe I have a little more, but Brady's been iffy this year that I don't know. The same confidence in putting it in his hands.
I was shocked that Tampa Bay lost this game. I thought they were finally getting on track, but losing to the Browns, especially with Cooper Set, who's having a good year, but he's still not a great quarterback. This was a game that the Bucs should have won. They're lucky, so lucky they play in the NFC South, which is arguably the worst division of football besides maybe the AFC South. But to lose this game, luckily they're still leading the division, and I would still expect them to win the division, but they're looking like a wild card one and done team here.
Yeah, next time in Tampa.
Yeah, it is panic. And I think for them, the worst thing is I feel the wild card teams are going to be better than the division.
Let's just say they play the Cowboys, because let's just say the Eagles win the division and everything. They play the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to smoke them. I know they beat the Cowboys week 1 this year. That's week 1. The teams look a lot different right now.
Yeah, and because I think for them, what would be best is if they played I know they're even one Seahawks, because I know Gino's been great, but that would be probably a better matchup for them than trying to play Cowboys, because that defense. The only thing with the Cowboys is it's the Cowboys in playoffs.
Yeah,
how much?
Right.
if they have to play like the 49ers, I'm them. I want them to see at all. Right now.
No, the 49ers would destroy the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The only hope the Buccaneers would have is that their defense is still playing well, so they can take over a game.
They can.
Yeah, we'll see what they do from here, but has not been a good year for them. But on the Browns side, now Deshaun Watson can play. You don't have to see Jacoby Brissett anymore, so I guess this week is exciting for them because they'll get to see Deshaun Watson play Houston, and we all know he's probably going to kill Houston. So that's pretty much the most interesting thing from them. But this was a good win for them. Still 4-7. Don't see them making that wild card push. Nick Chubb has another 1,000-yard season, which is nice to see. Every year, Nick Chubb's career, he's averaged 5 yards or more rushing. Beautiful. Jamal Charles-esque. But let's move forward with a game that was a blowout, and it was expected to be a blowout. The Miami Dolphins beating the Houston Texans 30-15.
Yeah, I mean, they had sat their running back and quarterback by third quarter.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much to take from this one. This was expected. Yeah, Dolphins are a legit Super Bowl contender, I would say.
I think that's the big thing is the Dolphins, like, you handled business like you should. And Houston, again, still have that first round number 1 pick. So, it's not, again, not the worst losing.
Texans, you just want to get this season over with and just put your hopes and dreams into next year. Let's do, this will be a fun one. The New York Jets beating the Chicago Bears 31-10. There's not much to discuss on the Bears side. Justin Fields didn't play, unfortunately. But there's a lot to discuss with Mike White and Zach Wilson.
My favorite thing from it is Mike White at one point, like, the camera caught him doing, like, this wink and all and, like, shaking his head. And, like, I joked. I was like, yep, that's him saying to Zach Wilson, yeah, have fun on the bench, buddy. You ain't coming back in. In case you were to come back in and suck and you got a shot. Yeah, have fun on the bench, buddy.
This game for Mike White was by far better than any game in Zach Wilson's career. I know Zach Wilson's only had about 20 starts, but still, Mike White's had less. And this game was so much better than anything Zach Wilson has ever done.
I mean, his receivers probably were like, oh my gosh, this is what it's like. This is what we do. Oh, okay.
Dude, I bet the receivers were talking so much trash about Zach Wilson. They're like, oh, thank God we have a quarterback now.
Yeah, they love him. It was Mike White, Joe Flacco, and Zach Wilson on the bench. And White and Flacco had tablets and they were looking at stuff, and Zach Wilson had nothing.
He thinks he's too good to do anything. He's never been any good.
I'm assuming if Flacco was paying attention to what was going on, probably should have been.
If Flacco, Super Bowl, he's a veteran and a Super Bowl winner. Did he win the MVP that game?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's a Super Bowl MVP. So, and he's still taking the time to try to learn defense. And you tell me you're too good for that? Get out of here. This move from the Jets saved their season. If they had stuck with Zach Wilson, I was thinking if they stick with Zach Wilson, they're not making playoffs.
Oh no, they wouldn't have. I really don't think they would have.
I think they would have barely scraped by this game, but I mean, he came in. Yeah, he came in and was like, "No, I'm going to prove this is my. I deserve this." Like, and he might end up being horrible after this, but he came in like boom, boom, boom.
But still, even if he's horrible, he's already proven he's better than the other guy.
Oh yeah, and this defense has proven like even if you suck, just don't be like complete garbage. We can win you a couple. Well done.
Not by Zach Wilson, though.
Yeah. Oh, no.
We'll roast him any chance we get.
Oh, yeah. No.
We'll move on to another game. This was the Washington Commanders beating the Falcons 19-13. This is another defensive battle, and the Washington Commanders defense has really taken off, and they don't have Chase Young back. So they're starting to look like they did in 2020, I think it was, when they had that great defense. Yeah, it was 2020 when they had a great defense. So not that good, but they're getting there. But yeah, Taylor Heinicke's 5-1. I wouldn't say he's been like the straw that stirs the drink there. I would say it's been the defense and the running game. He does keep them on schedule by not getting sacked and stuff. But other than that, he turns over the ball a lot. So I think he could end up costing them. They played the Giants this week, and I'll be very interested to see how he does. Because he's either going to cost them a game or keep them right in it. I don't really see him taking it over, but I could definitely see him losing it for them. But they're 7-5. The worst team in the NFC East is 7-5, the best division of football.
Yeah, I think Riverboat Ron's going to his signature of his defense. So, himself another year. Right
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Because he was one of those that might have been on the hot seat of a lot of people. Were like, he might be because his team might really suck this year.
But now they're doing well. I still think they're that good. I mean, they're not winning Super Bowl or anything, but just to be making playoffs is a testament to him as a coach and I guess his team working together. They're playing greater than the sum of their parts right now. So that's always a sign of good coaching and good teammates. But for the other side, we had the Falcons, and I was hoping the Bucs will win because it's, again, we said it the other week, but it's essentially been confirmed that once the Falcons fall out of playoff race, they will bench Mariota and start Ritter. And I'm just tired of seeing Mariota. He had a game-losing interception against the Commanders this week. They had the chance to take the game, and then he throws a ball, got batted, and then picked off. So he just isn't getting it done. Yeah, it's time. They're still in it technically because they're only half a game back from Tampa Bay. But enough's enough. I mean, why do you want to make playoffs, Atlanta?
Yeah, seriously. I wouldn't be kind of looking at, what happens if we make playoffs? We lose first round. You're losing the first wild card weekend.
Yeah, everybody's looking at the schedule. Oh, I want to play that team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and talk about the Panthers. So we'll do our kitty corner.
Oh, right.
Philip over there is, I'm sure, yeah, good timing, Bobby. We're just about to talk about the Panthers. I'm sure Philip's going to take part of this kitty corner this week because one of his guys is back. But the Panthers beat the Broncos 23-10.
If I can start this kitty corner, I know you guys heard me before, but I'm going to say this. To all you Sam Darnold haters and all you throwing him under the bus, the apology tour is right open. We are ready for all apologies from this bus. You know, I've been one of the biggest supporters. I told you all, he's not worse than Baker Mayfield. He will be accepting apologies from all of you all. Anything you want to do, you know where to reach us. You guys can go.
Well, Phil, let's just give it more than one game.
But Bobby, he has looked. This game was better than anything Baker put out this year.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, the throws he was making early in the game were so much better than anything Baker.
That deep ball to DJ Moore, I mean, Baker would never.
Even the touchdown pass, it wasn't a deep throw, but it was still more of a touch throw than Baker's ever done. Especially for the Panthers. One thing that I think I'll be interested to see for the Panthers next year is, do they stick with D'Onta Foreman as their leading rusher? I think they should, because this dude,
keep him and do a 1-2 punch with somebody else.
Yeah, I feel you keep him and draft someone.
Because he has 4 games of 100+ yards.
No, he's a beast. I knew he was good because the year before he was in Tennessee when Derrick Henry got hurt, and he was a beast over there too.
I think he could be a potential 1,000-yard rusher.
Oh, he could be. Yeah, he definitely would be. On this team, if you start the whole year, yeah.
Which is crazy for him because his career was going straight down the tube before last year at Tampa Bay, because he was a 3rd-round pick, kept getting injured with Houston. He actually missed a year in 2019, and then 2020 he barely played. So this has been quite an impressive turnaround for him the past 2 years. So I applaud him for that.
He's only 4 yards away from a single season high.
Yeah, he should get probably around 800 or so yards rushing.
Yeah, 700-800. He'll probably finish with that.
Let's go ahead and talk about the Broncos. I'll let y'all smash them a little bit more than me, but I just want to point out how crazy it is to see a defender, I believe it was Mike Purcell, yelling, shouting at Russell Wilson during the game. I don't know what was said. I can only imagine.
I believe Russell Wilson said he told him to let's go or something like that.
Yeah.
Hey, he's probably like, let's go. We've been going all year. What the hell you been doing? Yeah. But when's the last time you saw a team just turn on a guy like that? Usually you hear about this person is like this person, but it's usually behind closed doors. You don't see it in the middle of a game.
With how much they gave up for this guy, I mean, I can understand why everybody's mad.
And you gotta keep him. You can't get rid of him.
Another funny thing about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has 8 touchdown passes, and he's played 10 games. He has less touchdown passes than Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz hasn't played since week 6. In fact, he's down by 2.
You gotta give him a shout. He threw his 300th career touchdown against the Panthers.
And no one freaking remembers it, okay?
I mean, he at this rate, he won't get to 400, but he got 300.
At this rate, he might not even get to 10 passing touchdowns this year.
400, he might not get to 320 at this rate. Who? I mean,
yeah, I just feel bad for the Broncos because you have to commit to him for at least 2 or 3 more years. You can't exactly get rid of him.
Yes, it's so bad. Broncos fans, I'm sorry for you. I don't think next year's going to be much better, especially if Russ doesn't magically become the old Russ.
And they've seen their team win 3 Super Bowls. They'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll be okay.
Spoiled.
It's
Yeah,
got to be one of the most disappointing seasons in NFL history, I would say.
Oh, you know
From expectations.
Vegas is so happy with how much money they won from that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I bet.
The one thing I'm going to go back to Panthers was for Darnold, again, to my boy, for people who are like, oh, well, it's just the Broncos. No, the Broncos defense is really good.
It is.
So have a good game versus a good defense. At least he's there.
He averaged, I think, 8 yards per pass. It was under 200 yards, but still 8 yards per pass and over 100 rating, I believe. So, first game back, really good. So, again, looks like the best quarterback they got. Not that that's saying much, but it's a fact. So you get a good week, Sam Darnold truthers. We'll see what happens this week. But we'll move on to the next game. Now, this was a big game. We have the Bengals beating the Titans 20-16.
That is a pretty big game. Big AFC showdown right there.
Now, this loss does not hurt Tennessee much at all because the Texans aren't a factor. The Jaguars won, but they're not a factor, and the Colts lost again. So, I mean, they could have. I think they have enough wins already to wrap this division up. So, this loss does not hurt them one bit.
Well, Texas, they're going to win the division, so they're probably not going to need to change anything. But I think their offensive coordinator needs to be fired because they're a run-first team that can't run block.
Yeah, Derrick Henry had another poor game, but again, like you said, they're not really run blocking for him, so he's getting hit automatically. I believe he has the most yards after contact in the league, which is not surprising, but it's also an indication that he's getting hit pretty early. So they definitely need to button that up. But Tannehill has had back-to-back 2 good games. He didn't throw a touchdown, but he still played pretty well. And it looks like Traylon Burks is coming on for them. So they could, now that not a Super Bowl contender by any stretch, but I could see them sneaking a game in the playoffs.
Yeah, it really just depends on if they can get Derrick Henry going.
Everything centers around Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So now they're tied with Baltimore, but they lost the head-to-head, so officially they're back. They're behind them, but they have a chance to take it over with the Ravens still struggling.
Don't they play Baltimore one more time?
They do. They
Yeah.
will.
He did without Joe Mixon
And Jamar Chase.
and Jamar Chase, two of the top offensive players,
So we'll see. Oh, the Bengals play the Chiefs this week. That's going to be huge. The Bengals are starting to peak at the right time. Now, we still have 5 games left, but they're starting to look better. They were kind of up and down in the first half of the season, and they're starting now to kind of win these tougher games. So they're looking better, and my expectation would be that they win this division.
I agree. I think the Ravens have regressed too much.
Speaking of them, we'll go to their game. The Ravens losing to the Jaguars 28-27. Before we go into the Ravens, I just want to point out something that I thought was interesting. When Jacksonville scored a touchdown, they could have tied the game. And they have Doug Peterson, who's well known for being aggressive. But one interesting parallel I see is that in Wentz's rookie year, he did the same decision against Baltimore. They scored right at the end of the game, and he went for 2. They didn't get it when he was with the Eagles, and this time he got it. So I think there's a little bit of redemption in his mind. I don't know if that played a factor in him going for it, but I could see him being like, you know what? I got a young quarterback. I didn't do it with the last guy. Or I didn't get the 2-point with the last guy. I want to get it with this guy, and I want to prove that we're here.
Yeah, interesting. Didn't even know that, but very, very gutsy call. Very gutsy, but sometimes you just got to go. You got to go for the win. Make sure it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Jacksonville, why not?
No, let's give credit to a local guy, Zay Jones. 11 catches, 145.
He killed it. He's having a pretty good year. Also, let's talk about that throw Trevor Lawrence had for that touchdown pass to Marvin Jones. What an absolute beaut.
Well, that's the type of throw you expect from the number 1 overall pick.
I think they said that was the lowest, because you know how they do the percent chance the ball could be completed?
Yeah.
They said that was the lowest touchdown pass completion in the last 2 years. I believe they said that they had an 8% chance of being completed. That's how good that throw was.
That's what T-Law does.
And this might have been the best game of his career.
Ever since we called him out for playing poorly, he's been putting in 3-4 straight good games.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show, Trevor Lawrence. We know you're a big fan. But for the Ravens, I mean, the offense did score more points to this game. They started off really slow. Again, they didn't. They had 12 points entering the fourth quarter. Then both teams kind of went off in the fourth quarter. But still, another slow performance. They've played, I guess I would say, not as great as I expected them to against some lesser competition the last 4 weeks. They've won last 4 weeks, but they still haven't impressed me, I would say. And now this week they get the Broncos. If they don't smash them, then I would say, okay, what's going on there? I know a lot of Ravens fans want Greg Roman fired, so we'll see what happens with that. But I don't know. I just think I think this offense may not improve too much because where do you see the improvement? Is Lamar going to instantly play better? He's already the whole team. How much more could he carry?
Well, we'll see. I think they've been showing because all season they kind of been showing their weaknesses of their flaws. Of it's like unless Lamar plays otherworldly, you're not gonna win. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he is essentially the whole team at this point, aside from Mark Andrews. But so like you're saying, oh, they could do better, but like that means you're putting that much more on Lamar's shoulders. He's gonna have to play like he did in 2019 when he won the MVP, and that just doesn't happen that often. So we'll move on from them, and we'll go to the Chargers beating the Cardinals 25-24.
Another gutsy call to win the game.
Yep, another 2-point conversion. Love to see it. But the Chargers are another team, like I said, with the Giants. They love to play to the level of their competition. They are a better team than the Cardinals, but yet the Cardinals were right there. They could have won it. So they play like every week. You think they're going to just finally show that they're here, and they kind of just do a competitive game, or they lose to Jacksonville. Again, they shouldn't be losing. So I don't know what to make of them.
I don't either, but I would say for their coach, big win. I mean, keeps you in the playoffs, but, obviously we all know on the hot seat because you can't be the Chargers coach. You can't have Justin Herbert and not make playoffs 2 years in a row. That's just not acceptable.
Now, the good thing for them is that they have 5 games left, and I would say only 2 of them should be difficult. They got Raiders, Dolphins, Titans, Colts, Rams, Broncos. Those last 3 at the end of the season, like I said last week, that's a cakewalk. It should be at least.
We'll see with the way they've been playing.
Good win for them. And for the Cardinals, they got Kyler Murray back. I guess he was done playing Call of Duty. James Conner had a good game. DeAndre Hopkins continues to have an impressive season. But for them, I mean, I think it's all but guaranteed. Cliff Kingsbury is out of here.
Gotta go. He sucks. Go back to college.
Yeah.
He was stuck at college too. Wasn't that good of a college
Nope.
coach.
But we'll move on for them, and then we'll hit this was a good game. The Raiders beating the Seahawks 40-34.
What a shootout. What a shootout. Devontae Adams with that lovely one-handed catch.
Yeah, sick. And then of course we can't not mention Josh Jacobs, 229 yards this game, had the 80-something yard touchdown in overtime to put it away. And they also led the team in receiving yards with Devontae Adams. So this was a career game all around for him. But for Raiders, this win doesn't do too much for this season, but it kind of shows them that they're playing better to where they maybe feel like, okay, this Josh McDaniels thing may work out. We're kind of playing better than we have been. We see the results are starting to get there. So that maybe give them some hope into next year.
Say that offense is clicking, so it's just now they're probably going to have to look for, okay, we need a different defensive coordinator.
And players.
Yeah, that too.
But for the Seahawks, this is 2 losses in a row. Yep, lost to the Bucs and then the Raiders. So not great because both those teams aren't very good. This week they play the Rams and then they play the Panthers, so they should be able to get back on track the next 2 weeks. But Geno had another good performance. Still looking pretty good. Yeah, but this is a game they should have won. Now they were first in the division. Now they're second. So now they're actually out of the playoffs right now, I believe, because Washington has the last wild card spot. So they really can't afford to miss any gimme opportunities from here on.
Well, true. I mean, I think they're starting to come back down to earth.
Yeah, I agree.
You believe this is going to happen. I mean, maybe it still might, but they've been on a fairy tale ride.
I see them finishing with a winning record, but playoffs, it really depends on if they really need one of Washington or Giants to fall off. Which they would probably prefer the Giants because they beat the Giants, so they would have the head-to-head on them.
Yeah, but I hope the Giants don't.
Because then all that stuff you've been saying the past few weeks on this episode, where you're laughing at Hunter and I for saying they're not going to make playoffs, then it's going to turn around on you. But I'll save it for later. We'll go quickly on this one. This is really nothing to talk about. Chiefs beating the Rams 26-10. Chiefs really didn't look like they were interested in playing this game because they could have won by just starting the third stringers in this game pretty much because the Rams didn't have the quarterback, running backs, receiver. Everybody's hurt on this team. Even Aaron Donald got hurt, and he might not be back the rest of the year. So it's just ugly all around, and it's a shame. And Rams fans got to be upset. They got to be wondering what we're going to do this offseason. We don't have a picks. We don't got money. We don't got nothing. So I don't know. But you won the Super Bowl, so in the end, it was worth it.
Yeah, it was worth trading all those picks.
I think, even if they didn't have all those injuries, that really have made a difference with the way the Rams have been playing because they've been like trash the whole season, even when they're healthy.
No, but the Chiefs may have looked a little more interested. But Chiefs still looking like the overall Super Bowl favorite. Patrick Mahomes still leading the MVP race. Yeah, same old with them. And then we'll go to this one. The 49ers pitching a shutout 13-0 against the Saints. Love to see the Saints lose. Love every minute of it. I'm just wondering when are we going to see Jameis Winston back? Because I think the Dalton thing is kind of done.
Free Winston. Free Jameis.
But we'll talk about the 49ers. Offensively, they weren't quite there yet. They did lose Elijah Mitchell, who sprained his MCL again, so I think he's pretty much done for the year. Yeah. So it's going to be the Christian McCaffrey show from here, which is kind of exciting for people who've seen him in Carolina.
I bet they wish they didn't trade Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, that may come to hurt them because really it's Christian McCaffrey and I don't know who else.
The same McCaffrey's dealing with knee irritation.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, if he gets hurt though, that's going to hurt them real bad. But this game was huge for 49ers because the Seahawks lost, so now the 49ers are leading into the division, and their defense is playing great. They always do, and so they're looking like they're doing exactly what they did last year and getting hot at the right time. And I would not be surprised if they go to another NFC Championship game.
No, not at all. Especially with the way the NFC has been this year.
Right.
I think, right now it would be them and the Eagles. I
say, I think so. Eagles got the best offensive weapons.
I think that's what the matchup's going to be. Speaking of Eagles, let's go to them. They played Sunday night. They played a game that was more competitive than I thought it was going to be. Definitely more high scoring. They beat the Packers 40-33. Now this game, they had the Eagles had Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts both rush for over 140 yards. You don't see two teammates rush for over 440 yards in a game too often, especially a quarterback.
Yeah, their offense was on point. Has been really doing some work this year, utilizing Miles Sanders well.
Yep, Miles Sanders on pace for his first 1,000-yard season. I believe he already has a career high in both yards and touchdowns this year. Yep, he does.
Touchdown, obviously.
I honestly see the Eagles running away with the NFC. I just don't.
The only thing that hurts the Eagles right now is that right now they have some injuries on defense. They lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who has 6 picks on a year for who knows how long. He has a lacerated kidney that can range anywhere from a couple of weeks to not coming back this year. So we'll see. Him being out, especially for playoffs, would be a huge factor, I think. But for regular season, he can miss the rest of the regular season. That's going to be fine because the Eagles have things pretty much wrapped up for the most part. And they also will be getting Jordan Davis back, so that should be helping this run defense that has been pretty bad recently. But offensively, the Eagles are looking really, really good. Jalen Hurts, it seems like you can't razzle him. He's always cool, calm, and collected, so that's one of the most important things from a quarterback. And if the run game is going to be this good, how do you stop a run game that's working this well with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and they're going to eventually get Dallas Goedert back? That's going to be real tough.
That would be huge. Yeah, I think they got a really good shot. I can't. 49ers just have the experience right now over them that I can't fully count them out. But right now, the Eagles look like a shoo-in for the Super Bowl at the current moment in time.
But the big thing is, if the Eagles get home field advantage, I could see the Philly crowd getting into Jimmy Garoppolo's head.
Oh yeah, that would be. That's
And it's going to be cold, probably. I would imagine it's going to be cold in Philly in January. So that could also play a factor rather than going to San Francisco.
true. No, I'm with you there. I just think the San Francisco would just have the advantage if they've been there before.
Right? Yeah.
This far before, and as well as Jalen Hurts played, the lights start getting brighter and brighter, and it's how well do you play when the lights are really bright on you? Like that's the big thing.
But for the Packers, Aaron Rodgers threw 2 more picks. He's up all the way up to 9. He may even hit double digits this year, guys, which will only be the 3rd time in his career he did it. But I mean, he did get hurt this game. He says he's okay and he's going to play, but what's the point?
He needs to shut it down.
The only noteworthy thing for the Packers is that Christian Watson continues to kill it. Last 3 weeks, he's been absolutely insane. Go ahead and just hit this last game, Monday night game. Pittsburgh beat the Colts 24-17. The main thing is Kenny Pickett looks like he's gradually improving, not by leaps and bounds, but by incremental improvements week to week. You want to see that. I mean, you like to see more, but he's looking better each week. So I think he's looked better than Zach Wilson already.
Oh, yeah, much better.
So
I think he's solid. So yeah, I mean, as your first round pick, at least like we got somewhat of a quarterback. So
right.
we can to other positions that we need to get better.
His stats still on a year look pretty atrocious, but as I said, he's still just gradually improving. So he's getting a little bit better each week, I'd say.
This was just a game I really just didn't care about.
No, unless you're a fan of the Colts or the Steelers, you really don't care about this game. Matt Ryan stunk up the joint again. He did play better in the second half, but he was still bad. He still looks completely washed. The Colts just made a dumb decision at the end of the game with the time clock management. And, just all bad for the Colts. I didn't catch any Jim Irsay lies this week, so it looks like he went a week without lying. I don't believe that, though. He lied to somebody.
Oh, duh.
But that was week 12.
Thank you guys for, again, listening. As much as I'm enjoying the season, I think as we get closer and closer to wrap-up time, it'll actually help out. Thank you guys again for let us know what you think of this week. Please like, subscribe, share, all that. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you all had a great Thanksgiving and be ready for Christmas time as our Christmas content comes out. Be ready to enjoy some fun Christmas festivities. Again, I'm Legacy.
And I'm Max.
I'm Bobby.
From Bobby J.
And may the discussions begin.